Hi, in today's video I'm going to show you how to grind the American tech tree in an A10 Warthog a bit differently than how most people do it, at least from what I've seen. Your typical way would be try to survive until you reach the ground units, maybe get a kill on the way there using the not at all OP AIM-9Ls, preferably on some poor soul in a SU-7, JA-35, or something else what doesn't have flares. More often than not, you will meet the enemy team roughly around your ground bases, as you are the slowest thing ever flown at BR 10.0. And that's counting the clowns and trolls who brought prop planes as well. And sure, sometimes you will actually make it there and make a lot of Silver Lions and XPs. But very often you'll meet a bunch of Su-25s with their GSH-23 pods, and they will force a head-on, and they will most likely shred you into small pieces, because the ammunition they use really likes to rip and tear. Where your ammunition is great in penetrating tanks and IFVs, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage to planes. So, like it or not, before you'll get the chance to farm on ground NPCs, you'll need to deal with the entire enemy team first. And forget about flanking, as the game will end sooner than you'll get anywhere. Now, if you've been looking at the footage in the background, you probably noticed something strange. I am currently in an A10 over 3,000 meters high and climbing. This is a tactics I tried just for shit and giggles, but quite to my surprise, it brought me a little success. And let me tell you, nobody expects the A10 dive bombing his ass at 800 kilometers per hour. Nobody. And it's super funny. So, what's my approach? Go as light as possible. So take 13 minutes of fuel, which is the minimum, and 2 AIM-9Ls because duh. Then get to around 450 kilometers per hour and start climbing. Go easy on your mouse. You want to climb without losing speed. It wouldn't be useful to be high if you were slow. Without speed, you have poor nose authority and you can't dodge any incoming threats. You see me here turning on the periodic flare series. I use a single flare in 2-second intervals, so I don't have to worry about running out. It's not always going to save you, but it will discourage enemies from even shooting missiles at you. Plus it makes it harder for them if they try. But it also makes you more visible, so there's that. If you see a missile anyway, you need to release more and then start turning immediately. Now, before I start dive bombing onto people and throwing away my energy advantage, aka the altitude I built in the past 3 minutes or so, I'm looking for unsuspectful targets for my AIM-9Ls. This tornado didn't happen to be unsuspectful, but he left the afterburner on, and so now he's dead. And here comes MiG-23BN, which is basically free food for your missiles as he doesn't have flares. He's fixated on the F5, and because of my altitude, he doesn't see me. So my perfectly balanced and not at all OP AIM-9L sends him right into the hangar. And now for the dive bombing part. Watch the speed as I catch this poor Su-25, who will not believe what is on his tail, sending 100% pure democracy his way in a 30mm compact packaging. This guy was already damaged and most likely flying to their base, but I don't believe for 1 second that he thought, oh no, that A10 is going to catch me. See, this is the thing, When people see the A10, they think, if I come close to it, I might die. But nobody thinks I need to fly away from it, or it will come and kill me. Most people simply do not respect the A10. They see it as a slow break with 2 OP missiles, which can be defeated easily with flares, and yeah, they're kind of right. It is a slow plane, and definitely not the most agile either. So you can use this presumption people have about the A10 and use it to your advantage. Surprise them with speed, for which you need to build the altitude first, and that's timely, and also with maneuverability, as I'll show you later. We won't turn the A10 into an air superiority fighter, but we will surprise people. Our next target will be a Milan, which is probably right now thanking God that I use both of my missiles. I don't know what it is about Milan players. Either they have balls the size of Africa, or they are plain stupid. This is, in my opinion, the worst plane in the game for 2 main reasons. First reason, it doesn't have flares, while sharing the same BR with Su-25s and A10s, effectively. Second reason, it is premium, so somebody paid real life money to get raped every single game. I see these things dying so often before they can even release the bombs on enemy ground bases. Poor souls. You know what? This is taking too long. Let's just cut right to it. Yeah, I still suck with this gun. I know. I promised you earlier that we are going to surprise people. So, holding on to my promise, watch these 2 MiGs die in disbelief. An A9L up here? What is it doing at this altitude? How did it get here? Only the A10s shoot A9Ls and they fly low to the ground. I'm 6 kilometers above them. Well, not above this A10, as I was 4 kilometers high. And that's pretty high for a video containing an A10 and 0 weed. And now, time for a disclaimer. I know I didn't do something super smart or revolutionary, but for some reason I haven't seen a single A10 climb, and I really had more success yesterday when I played this way for a couple of hours than I had before, flying more traditionally. And I guess the main reason why is precisely because not many people, if some, do this. So have a go. Try it for yourself. And now for the maneuverability part. Again, nothing revolutionary, but from what I've experienced, not many people do this. The trick is simple. Use flaps. The flaps on the A10 can be put into 3 positions. First is raised, second is takeoff, and third is landing. Neither takeoff or landing position is usually suited for the flight and serve only the purpose of generating more lift while taking off or landing, because you move slow while doing this. Hint: the A10 is slow all the time. So unless you are dive bombing or doing some other stupid shit you heard people say on the internet, you'll be fine. On a normal plane, the flaps would fall off pretty fast, but the A10 is not just slow, but also quite rigid. So you are fine. And I'm not talking just about using the takeoff position, which generates some lift, but also about the landing position, which generates a lot more lift, making the A10 turn much tighter than most people expect. The takeoff position can be deployed at almost any speed. I did it while flying almost 700 kilometers per hour, and they didn't fall off. Now, the landing position shouldn't be deployed while going much over 500 kilometers per hour. I had an accident at around 550, and that wasn't near the ground, so you have to be a bit careful with these. But you'll outturn most things at this BR which aren't a delta wing, especially the Su-25s, which will be your main rivals. But you can also dodge MiG-21s and Chinese A5s trying to do a Mach-run on you. And by the way, that hit on this tornado with the GAU is what I was talking about previously when I was saying the ammunition you are using isn't very good for dealing with planes. Now, that was a solid hit, unlike the piss poor accuracy that followed when I was just spraying and praying so he won't get stolen or just fly away. And that is all you need to know in order to make this strategy work. If you want to fly more traditionally, then I guess I can give you information about the A10's air-to-ground armament, as I've seen many people mistaken the A10 for a Christmas tree. They hang everything they find in the hangar on the wings, and then fail spectacularly. First, bombs. And right away, don't use them in air battles. Ever. You'll be so slow that you'll die a long time before even seeing your own ground bases, let alone bombing the enemy bases. I'll leave this to the Phantoms, or Milans, and other jets, which are faster than you. Then we have the unguided rockets, and that's a second no. More weight, more drag, and they are pretty useless against NPCs. Your cannon is far superior, and it doesn't slow you down. Use ballistic computer to score easy hits, and the ammo you carry should be more than enough. Then we have the Vulcans, the 20mm Gatling gun pods. I tried using them on a couple occasions, and it's true that they shred enemy planes into pieces with the right ammunition. But they are much heavier than they see, limiting your ability to turn significantly. They also have a lot of recoil, which isn't dealt with so efficiently like on your GAU, so hitting ground targets is a bit more annoying. Not worth it if you ask me. And we save the best for last. The Mavericks. Useful? Nah, not very much. At least not on small maps. Cool? Yeah, very. Smart ammunition is slick. I take them here and there, but again, you don't exactly need them as your GAU is quite superior. At least, unlike all the previous weapons, they aren't very heavy, so you're still decently fast and maneuverable. And it is true that they are useful on the big maps where you can use them to kill the enemy AA from the distance. Anyway, that's going to be all from me for now. Thanks everybody who stayed for watching, and good luck.